Chair recognizes Councilor Rita Mercier for a moment of silence.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to offer a moment of silence in darkened chambers for Reverend Philip Giolopsis, a former pastor of the Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church in Lowell, who was an active member in civic and religious organizations whose funeral was this morning. He was ordained deacon in 1952. He was assigned to the Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church in Lowell in 1966. While there, Father Philip also served as a teacher, counselor, and principal of the Hellenic American Academy. He was on the advisory board. He received numerous awards for his association with civic and religious organizations. He also received the key to the city of Lowell. When he retired from the Holy Trinity in 1990, Metropolitan Methodius of Boston assigned him as a superintendent of the Greek schools and preacher of the religious radio program of the metropolis. He has been honored with the ecclesiastical title of spiritual father. He was the author of numerous articles, poems, and 6 books. For more than 50 years, he was a correspondent of the daily Greek newspapers of New York City, the Atlantis, and the National Herald. Besides his wife, Connie, he is survived by 2 daughters and 2 sons, 6 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. I attended the funeral mass along with Councilor Caulfield this morning. He was a pillar of the community, and he will be deeply missed. Thank you for allowing me to say this.
Councilor Caulfield.
Thank you very much. Father Philip, Metropolitan Methodius, gave a wonderful eulogy today at the Mass. And his eulogy indicated Father Philip was gentle, compassionate, loving, and his ministry wasn't just in Lowell. It was throughout the region. He was a wonderful husband, father, grandfather. The Holy Trinity Church and the Greek Church in Draycott lost a great person, and the city of Lowell did as well. May he rest in peace, and God bless his family.
May he rest in peace. Do we have anyone present to accept the proclamation from the University of Massachusetts at Lowell for National Medical Laboratory Week?
Yes.
If you could come forward to the podium, please. It's a proclamation, whereas National Medical Laboratory Week originated in 1975 and continues annually so that the American Society for Clinical Laboratory Science can educate the public about the field, and whereas the clinical laboratories play a critical role in more than 80% of medical decision-making, patients depend upon medical tests to accurately diagnose their conditions, and whereas the 12,000 Massachusetts clinical laboratories are facing an increasing shortage of qualified medical laboratory professionals, 10 to 13,000 graduate every year in the field, and only half of those that are needed to meet the needs of the coming years. Now I, therefore, William F. Martin, Jr., Mayor of the City of Lowell, do hereby proclaim April 23rd through 29th, 2006 as National Medical Laboratory Week here in the City of Lowell, and urge all citizens to join in the celebration given this 11th day of April 2006. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mayor Martin. My name is Dr. Kay Doyle, and I'm the chairperson of the Department of Clinical Laboratory and Nutritional Sciences. So on behalf of the students, the alumni, the faculty, staff, and administration at the university, I would like to thank you, the mayor, and the city council members for allowing me to be here this evening. We are going to have National Medical Laboratory Month to honor the hundreds of thousands of medical laboratory professionals in this country. The theme, the medical laboratory, providing answers, guiding cures, is a very appropriate one for our profession because we are the ones who help the physicians discover what is wrong with the patient. The physician will have a very difficult time in treating the patients if the problems are unknown. Clinical laboratory scientists work with literally hundreds of thousands of patient specimens every day, so their work has a wide-reaching effect in the practice of medicine. In fact, medical laboratory tests are responsible for aiding the physician with 75 to 80% of patient diagnosis. I think that it is fair to say that one of the reasons why medicine in America is as good as it is today is because the medical laboratory professionals are outstanding scientists assisting the physicians with their diagnosis, prognosis, and treatment monitoring of patients. The medical laboratory is still facing a shortage. Currently, there still is an average vacancy rate of about 10%. This vacancy rate is expected to continue and increase due to the fact that the average age of people working in the medical laboratory is about 45 to 47 years old. So we're expecting in the next 5 to 10 years to start to see that bell curve of retirements really increase. So it is very important that we continue to educate and graduate well-educated laboratory professionals to take these jobs. Graduates obtain employment in hospital laboratories, medical reference laboratories, physician office labs, toxicology and forensic laboratories. They also get jobs in veterinary facilities because dogs and cats and cows and horses have the same laboratory tests that we do, believe it or not, just different normal values. They also work in the biotech, the biomedical device, and the pharmaceutical industries because these companies are making clinical products that need to be tested before they're given to patients. So a degree in clinical laboratory sciences and medical technology can truly provide a lifetime of employment. The university has a program in clinical laboratory sciences and medical technology, and we have received perfect scores and accreditation for more than 20 years. This is due to the quality and the dedication of the faculty and staff, the support of the university administration, and the support of our clinical affiliates. At this time, I would like to particularly recognize and publicly thank all of our affiliates, especially Saints Memorial Hospital and Lowell General here in the city of Lowell, and Leahy Clinic, as well as other hospitals in the Merrimack Valley who have been steadfast supporters of our program for decades and have provided internships in all of the departments of the clinical laboratory. So I invite you and the City Council and the Mayor and the public to find out more about this area of laboratory medicine by getting in touch with your local hospital. The laboratory will have different events. So we have events at the university, so you're welcome to contact us at 978-934-4425. Or go to our website at www.uml.edu. And Mayor, I do have a traveling coffee mug to commemorate this week.
Okay, and I have the proclamation, so I'm going to come down there and present
Okay.
that to you. Thank you very much, and thanks for coming. The next item, Councilor Caulfield had a request that was actually mislabeled under a motion, and it's a citation to recognize the Living Waters Ministry of Hope and Ms. Diane Wardell. If you could come to the podium, please. I have a citation I'd like to present. Is there any objection to taking this motion out of order? It's actually mislabeled. It should have been labeled up front. Okay. Be it hereby known to all in the City of Lowell and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts that we hereby offer our sincere congratulations to Living Waters Ministry of Hope upon their outstanding commitment and dedicated service to the community for the exceptional work that was done on Middlesex Street. Living Waters is a non-denominational Christian-based ministry reaching out to the homeless and the hurting with love and compassion, as well as providing daily, weekly meetings, groups, and functions that help strengthen individuals in both their spiritual and emotional growth. The City of Lowell extends its best wishes and hope for continued success, given this 11th day of April 2006 by me, the Mayor of the City of Lowell. Ms. Wardell, we'd like to hear from you, but I think first Councilor Caulfield would like to speak.
Thank you very much, Mayor, for presenting a citation to the Living Waters Ministry, who did, as you indicated, a remarkable job on Middlesex Street. Not only did they do a remarkable job, but the people at the Transitional Center came out and helped, and you instilled pride in that whole neighborhood, Diane, and you're willing to go further and keep up the great work. And we want to applaud you, and I wish everyone in attendance would put their hands together for this wonderful group of people who worked extensively on Middlesex Street. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I want to thank the Donald Murphy from the Sanitation Department and the Parks Department that they get us all the stuff together. But we want to, it was exciting to see everybody pitch in. We had people from different churches. We probably had between 25 and maybe 30 people there that day, and we had people from the Transitional Living Center. We had homeless people, and we just had a blast. They kept talking about how fun it was, how exciting it was, and how they want to clean up the neighborhood, and they're actually really getting excited. They want to go down to Jackson Street. They say, look, it's a mess down there. So we really want to adopt that section of town and really, you know, keep it clean, and it's awesome to see everybody coming together, and they took such pride in it, and it was such a privilege to do that, to see, you know, these people just take pride in what they were doing. And this young man, Tyler, we had all ages there, and Tyler Stedman was there, and he wanted to share something about that day. Is that okay?
Certainly. Why don't you come up to the microphone, Tyler?
I would just really like to have that as a park, and I just made up this name for it, and I just said it should be called Living Park.
Okay, thank you very much. It's pretty, 2 gifts in one night. All right, on to the agenda. The first item is the approval of the minutes from the April 4th meeting. Any additions or corrections? Motion to approve by Councilor Ramirez, seconded by Councilor Milanazzo. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Under the city manager's portion of the agenda, there is an ordinance in City Council, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances, City of Lowell, Massachusetts, as amended by amending Section 16, by striking out Section 16-9 in its entirety and replacing it with the following related to the transmission of fire alarms, to be known as the False Alarm Ordinance. Motion to waive the full reading by Councilor Donahue, seconded by Councilor Elliott. All those in favor of that motion say aye. Any opposed? The full reading is waived. This matter is set down for a public hearing on May 2nd. Motion to so refer this matter to a public hearing by Councilor Ramirez, seconded by Councilor Milanazzo. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? The matter is referred to a public hearing on May 2nd. Subcommittee reports. Councilor Milanazzo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Economic Development Subcommittee met earlier this evening to talk about the GM parking garage. As you all know, there was information in our packet with a recommendation from the administration regarding how we closed the gap on financing the new garage along Middlesex Street. If you recall, we had a bid opening in March. The bids came in about $5 million over budget, so we asked the administration to go back and look at a way to deal with that $5 million increase. Actually, the garage now is at about $21.5 million. Again, it's a 900-car parking garage, and we're hoping to keep this on track. I can get to the vote. The vote was to recommend to the full council that we actually support the parking department revenue and rates increase in order to support what ends up being about $340,000 in increased debt service in order to fund what will be about a $4.5 million increase in borrowing in order to build a garage as proposed. The administration did look at looking for additional federal and state grant opportunities. Unfortunately, after talking with the state delegation as well as Congressman Meehan's office, we were not able to identify funds that would be available in a timely fashion. As we all know, the bids were open March 15th. We have until, I believe, April 26th. I believe it's 30 working days from March 15th. So we're on a very tight schedule to deal with that. We also asked them to look at a private developer, to have a private developer look at taking over the building of this garage. And then, again, based upon that analysis, it turns out it would not be in the city's best interest nor a private developer's best interest to go that route. So we are recommending to the full council that we support the parking director's recommendation, where we would actually increase the monthly pass card adjustments. From market rate users, they would go from $64 a month to $70 a month. For businesses, $52 a month to $60 a month. For residents in the downtown, $48 a month to $60 a month. And then we have some special rates dealing with other users of the garages. The good news is that the taxpayer won't be paying for this increase. It would actually be the users of the garage. And if you look at Lowell compared to other cities, and I think we all would agree that if you compare Lowell to even a Lawrence, where Lawrence is getting $80 a month, we're still below Lawrence at the proposed rate of $70 per month. We also want to make it clear that the hourly changes up to 6 hours will remain the same. So again, a downtown shopper can go into the garages and not have any increase in rates. But I think this is really the only solution. It's incredible to think that it's going to cost $21.5 million to build a 900-car parking garage, but we've already invested $1.9 million to date. And I think in order to keep this important project, both the JAM plan as well as the Hamilton Canal District moving forward, the subcommittee is recommending to the full council that we go forward. We do have a loan order for $4.5 million, which would need to be referred to a public hearing, as well as the increases in the rates would also need to be referred to a public hearing, as they would be an ordinance change. Again, we had a number of questions, and I'm sure my colleagues that are on the subcommittee will talk about their concerns. One concern in particular came up around the fact that we only had 2 bids for the garage. However, we were told that 70 bid packages were actually taken out. So it wasn't from the standpoint of not marketing the fact that this project was happening. It's just that the construction industry is just at a point where contractors are very busy. And with what happened with, again, Hurricane Katrina comes to mind, the cost of materials are just such that we find ourselves in this particular situation. So it's unfortunate. We estimated the garage to cost $16.5 million, and we're actually now at $21.5 million. But at the end of the day, I hope that my colleagues will agree that we need to move forward and get this project moving as quickly as we can. So that's a report of progress, and I hope my colleagues support the recommendation of the subcommittee.
Thank you. Anyone else in the subcommittee? Councilor Donahue?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This, we have had a few meetings on this since the bids came in, 30% higher than we had anticipated, $5 million over, as Council Milanazzo said. This is a very difficult decision because the ratepayers, mainly the people who use the garages, not just that garage, but all the garages throughout the city, are going to face an increase. And though the last increase was 2 years ago, I think for those who have had to pay more, it seems like we just put the rate increase into place, and now we'll be going back asking for another rate increase. The rate increase is unavoidable if we're looking to the garages to pay for themselves. We went over all the numbers at length, and it just seems at this point there aren't sufficient monies in the garage budget to absorb the additional cost. And that's a detraction, not just for that garage, but for all the garages. And I think, at the same time, the business owners who right now complain about, they lose customers because people have to park in a garage and they have to pay and it's not convenient, are going to be even more upset and affected. So, I think we have to, at the same token, we went through everything with DPD. Is there any other way? Can we go back out to bid? Do we think the bids will get, it was just a fluke that the bids were this high? And we were told most assuredly, it's not a fluke. This is what's happening in the industry. If anything, the bids, if we go back out, could be more expensive. So You know, it's one of those things that if we're going to build the garage, if we're going to build it as planned, then this is the cost, and it could only get worse from here. I guess the big concern I have is that, you know, in order to do this, we have two votes. One is to, you know, the loan order to increase the loan, the borrowing that we have to do, and also to raise the rates again. And, you know, I can envision a lot of people, both residents and business owners and people who park in the garages every day, to be greatly concerned about that, and I'm sure we'll hear from them. I think we have to do a little more for businesses, you know, in approaching this, and I think we do have to really try and address short-term parking, making it more convenient for people to come into downtown, park on the first floor, not have to search around for a space. Maybe have some kind of validation for businesses. I mean, we can't be killing businesses any more than they're already suffering. And so, you know, this is not going to be an easy situation to solve, but if we want to build the garage, and I think we've all indicated that we do want to build it, you know, we've got to come up with some solution to this economic shortfall. The other aspect to the garage in terms of scaling it down, changing the design, taking out the retail, you know, was going to go against what the whole purpose of the garage was, and that was to serve as a catalyst, you know, kind of a economic development vehicle for that neighborhood, for the jam area, which really has been neglected. So, you know, at this point, putting on these votes for public hearing and to try and push forward seems to be the only way. The last piece is, you know, to look to funding from state or federal. It just seems that it's not there, and that's what was explored at length, and we don't have that option. The only other thing I would say, and we discussed it, and that has to do with our arrangement with Middlesex Community College and the validation of tickets. I think we have to change that, not that we don't live up to our bargain, but I don't think it can be a free-for-all of validating tickets. I think we should work very closely with Middlesex to make sure if students are using the garage, they have a parking card just like any of the ratepayers, and so that we're not losing money by people validating tickets, even if they're not students. So, you know, reluctantly, I think everybody on the committee we don't feel that the subcommittee, that there is a choice if we're going to build the garage, and so, you know, that's what the subcommittee is recommending, and I think for those who weren't able to be there, you know, DPD and the questions were asked, and we've tried to explore every other alternative. So that's where we're at today.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Armin Mercier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One of the things that was discussed at this meeting are the alternatives to this, and none of them were really viable at all. The good part about this is that if this gets approved, the users of the garages and the parking structures that we have will be the ones paying for it, and not the taxpayer who's probably not using the garage. But I think it's interesting to note, and let me quote from the recommendation we did get from the city manager. It's important to note that there are a number of proposed development projects that are dependent on the construction of the jam garage to go forward. These include the redevelopment of the CMAA and the Adden Furniture Building on Jackson Street, and the redevelopment of these buildings on Middlesex Street at 155 and 160. These projects alone will generate at least $170,000 in additional annual tax revenue for the city. So just these projects that are dependent on this garage equal half of the projected annual debt service for the gap in our construction financing. The possibility of throwing the bids out and going out to bid was discussed, but there is no guarantee at all that the next bid wouldn't be higher. We'd be in a worse condition. We really need to act now. The jam plan's success actually depends on this jam garage being built, and being built with the quality that was designed. There was a discussion of maybe reducing some parking spaces. There was a discussion even at one point of making it just one parking lot. All of those possibilities just will not enhance that area to the point of redevelopment that we expect to have in the future. And so I also supported the recommendation of the administration along with the subcommittee although reluctantly, because no one likes to raise any kind of rates. However, if we're going to have a successful jam plan, which is right now on the way to some forward ideas, I think that we need to support this, and therefore I recommended, along with my colleagues, that the City Council send this to a public hearing in a favorable light. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Ramirez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am going to accept the recommendation. I just had a couple of concerns. The initial guesstimate for the project, I think, was in the $16 million range. And then it was either January 3rd or the 9th, my first or second meeting, that we asked for an additional 1.7. And at that time, I asked the director of DPD if that would be about it. And he thought that, yeah, that we wouldn't need to add any more money. I appreciate the fact that the market is fluctuating constantly. I'm just, what is the total amount now for the building of the, Matt?
Mr. Coggins, could you come forward, please, and address those questions?
Sure, Councilor. The low bid that came in, the actual construction, is $21.5 million. The second bid that we received was $23.5, or $2 million higher than that.
And so if we vote on this loan to go forward, are we accepting the 23.5?
We're accepting the 21.5.
The 21.5.
Correct.
And that would be the ceiling?
That's correct. The timeline that we're up against is April 26th. The bids are good for 30 working days from the date that they're opened. As I mentioned to the subcommittee tonight, we are in touch with the general contractor to see if, in fact, they would be willing to extend that date by a week or so, which would give the council a little bit more flexibility. The general contractor has responded that they are open to that. What they cannot speak for is the subcontractor for the precast concrete, which is the major portion of that bid. So right now we are up against a deadline of April 26th to either give them a notice to proceed with contract or to walk away, in which case that price does not hold.
And the 23.5 is building it the way...
21.5.
The 21.5
Yeah.
is building it the way it was intended to be built?
Exactly as it was
No
designed
modifications.
and bid, without any modifications.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Councilor Caulfield?
Thank you very much. I certainly endorse the recommendation of the subcommittee. The council has no other way or another choice. We cannot scale this garage down. It wouldn't be fair to that neighborhood. It wouldn't be fair to the business community. And, Mr. Mayor, in 1992, there was a discussion on the council floor about shutting a garage down because they weren't being used that often. So it only tells you that the city's moving forward in a positive way. We need that extra garage for the jam plan.
Okay, so the recommendation of the subcommittee is to refer this loan order to a public hearing on April 25th. I need to read the loan order. The loan order to borrow an additional $4,500,000 for the purpose of financing construction and reconstruction of a public parking facilities in the city of Lowell and cost incidental and related thereto. A motion to waive the full reading of the loan order by Councilor Broderick, seconded by Councilor Ramirez. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? The full reading is waived. This matter is set down for a public hearing on April 25th. Okay, all those in favor of setting this for a public hearing on April 25th say aye. Any opposed? That matter is referred to a public hearing. There is another matter that the Law Department has requested we address. Recall last meeting there was a loan order for the Hamilton Canal District and takings that we had talked and discussed about setting a public hearing date for that as well in the event that the public monies that were being made available aren't available by the public hearing date of April 25th for the taking. We've been requested to send that loan order also to a public hearing. I think we require a motion to suspend the rules to take that matter up. So moved by Councilor Broderick, seconded by Councilor Milanazzo. All those in favor of suspending the rules for this purpose say aye. Any opposed? That matter, the rules are suspended. Loan order in City Council to borrow $5 million for the purpose of financing the acquisition of land for the Hamilton Canal redevelopment project in the City of Lowell and any cost incidental and related thereto. That matter is to be referred to a public hearing on April 25th. So moved by Councilor Milanazzo, seconded by Councilor Ramirez. All those in favor of sending the matter to a public hearing on April 25th, say aye. Any opposed, the matter is referred to a public hearing on April 25th.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Armin Mercier.
I think what we need to do also is send to a public hearing an ordinance change or amendment in order to offset the cost that we're talking about, so that it'll simultaneously be discussed at a public hearing. So if there are no objections, I would like to move suspension of the rules in order to take that matter up by itself.
Correct. I'm not sure that requires a suspension of the rules. You're right. I should have read that. It's part of the subcommittee report.
Okay.
But motion to refer the matter of the rate increase also to a public hearing on April 25th by Councilor Armin Mercier, seconded by Councilor Rita Mercier. All those in favor of that motion say aye. Any opposed? So that matter is also scheduled for a public hearing on April 25th. Any further subcommittee reports? Councilor Broderick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This was a subcommittee last Thursday night with the auditor, clerk, oversight subcommittee, and we got some good news and some answers from our auditor. A motion was made by Councilor Donahue, seconded by Councilor Rita Mercier, to get a full report on the second and third vote at the end of the year relative to the free cash and the rate set, the tax rate that was set, and the purposes behind those votes. From there, we established the reason for the problem with the free cash last year. The good news is that we shouldn't have the problem ever again. We will have short-term borrowing in place. Apparently what happened is, as we do every year, the auditor submits for grant money, and he sent into the state. It was in June for almost $3 million. It was approved sometime in approximately in July, but the state didn't have money in the state revolving fund, as it's called, and couldn't pay it till November. Consequently, DOR backed that money out of our free cash because we had to pay for the deficiency. It's the first time it's happened. It was good to hear that there was an explanation for it, and now we can prevent it in the future. The manager was able to transfer money from the wastewater to cover the shortage, as we all know, the majority of the shortage. And in the future, we will have short-term borrowing lined up so that if there is a problem getting funds from the state, reimbursement, and things of that nature, we will have the funds to pay it, so we don't take the hit in the free cash category, and we can simply pay back the short-term loan as the funds are received. The auditor also informed us that he's working more closely with the treasurer, and that he intends to close the books on or by July 31st this year and in the years to come, and that he will file the recap sheet with the state by the end of September, basically to step up the process on the city side, which also will go a long ways towards hopefully alleviating the problem that we had at the end of the year. He did explain that DOR was here in person, and these things came up last minute, and we look forward to his report on it, but it was a very good meeting. Councilor Caulfield pointed out an interesting point. The school department, and this is nothing sinister, this is just by way of seeking information here, that they have a school purpose account within their account where they're able to carry money over. The beginning of last year, it was approximately $2.6 million, we believe, and at the end of this year, or now, it's about $1.6 million. Times are very tight, and Councilor Donahue, I believe, made a motion, seconded by Councilor Rita Mercier, to have our mayor come back with a report from the school committee as to what the purpose of the account is, and why is it held over as a free cash account, so to speak, within the school department. Councilor Caulfield pointed out that he believes, and I'll let him speak, but that they may be able to pay back up to 5% of that that could go back into our account. We do not get credit for this money in the next year's budget. So we're funding the budget, plus they're allowed to keep approximately last year $2.6 million in their account. So I think that a motion was made, and a recommendation is to get a report from the school committee and reports from the auditor as to the other two votes. Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Donahue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did make that motion when the auditor pointed out this particular account, school purpose account. I had asked, was this the same as the suspense account that I was familiar with when I was over on in your chair? And That answer wasn't clear. We did make a motion asking for you to just get a report. In the meantime, I have had occasion to speak with Jay Lang from the school department. He is preparing a report, but he told me that, let me clear up a couple of things. Number one, the current balance in that account is $71,000. It's not $2.6 million. Two, it wasn't $2.6 million initially either, because there was a $650,000 figure that was used to offset their budget. So that should have been subtracted. So at the start of the fiscal year, instead of $2.6 million, it was around $2 million. But those were for bills that they had already been committed. The school department works a little different than we do. They don't close their books per se, and they get bills in even up through October and November. He's preparing a full report for the council. And so they're one step ahead, so I guess you may not even have to file the motion on the school committee side, Mr. Mayor. But I think, you know, we stand corrected in terms of the balance being $71,000. And in terms of, what we're looking for is, are there extra monies that can be applied, you know, or be available for whatever use? Actually, because we have net school spending requirements, according to the school department, it looks like we're at about 100% funding of net school spending. I think the city thinks, you know, the city calculations may put us a percent or two higher, but in any event, we can't get the money back because we're required. I mean, we could for anything over 100%. We couldn't for anything if we're at 100%. In other words, that money is dedicated
Correct.
to school purposes. So anyway, we'll get a report, but it's not the balance that we thought it was at the subcommittee on Thursday.
Okay. You should know this, the school committee has the same concern, is always looking for extra funding from the council as well. So, Councilor Caulfield.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. If the school department was under the same umbrella with the city administration, I suppose you could call that free cash. 2.6 million or 2 million. I would like also for the solicitor to find out what is the amount they can roll over. I thought it was only 5% of the entire budget. And if that's so, then their budget is $2 million more than what we grant. And they're spending $2 million on top of what we give them. And I'd just like some answers on this particular fund.
Thank you. Councilor Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Following the meeting, I actually went home and I looked at some agendas. And Mr. Auditor, it really was 5. We had the emergency meeting on December 31st, and it was 5 votes, and that's why I was more confused. What made up those votes and to come up with our free cash? Because we had to rescind our original $4 million, adopt a $1.5 million. Then come back and accept 2 point from the sewer wastewater enterprise fund. So if we can just get a chronology as to what made up that final free cash figure, I think it'll help us in the future as we're going into a very tight year and we're going to need every nickel we can of free cash. And I'm sure the Department of Revenue is going to be just as strict on the 60-day rule of reimbursements after the fiscal year. And we did discuss at the meeting that a plan is already or will be in place as a result of the auditor keeping track of any deficits in any accounts at the end, or we shouldn't wait till June 30th because sometimes reimbursement from the federal or state government takes over 60 days. So that was also discussed. So we shouldn't run into the same problems with the Department of Revenue this year in certifying our free cash. But it was 5 votes, and if you can just get back to us on how we got there, because we had a number of meetings and a number of rescissions and adoptions.
Councilor, 2 votes were for free cash. There was 3 votes for free cash. The other votes were for the tax recap, I believe. There was one for $210,000 that was rescinded to reduce the appropriation. And but I'll look them up. But I believe that there were 5 votes Actually, 2 of them were for free cash, and then another 887 was for free cash, and the others were for the tax recap.
Okay, just sort of in English, what happened is usually and for people watching at home, we ran into a free cash problem last year because we
Right.
had these outstanding deficits in these revenue funds. Department of Revenue have been usually a little bit lenient, saying, particularly in the SRF fund, the Water Abatement Pollution Control Trust, getting reimbursements for the water upgrade and the wastewater upgrade. This money was coming into the city. We knew it was coming. It just hadn't arrived in that time frame. So what we're going to do this year is we're going to do, just in case, a short-term borrowing. So when we do have free cash at the end of the year, it's not absorbed by these deficits that inevitably the money is going to come in. So just some accounting issues that we need to stay on top of, and that was a good result from the meeting from the manager and the auditor. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councilor. Councilor Donahue?
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up. Again, this is what Mr. Lang told me, and I guess we will get a report, but the $2 million wasn't over and above their budget. It was these funds were encumbered in that year, and $650,000 was, I guess you'd call free cash, and that was applied to their budget. So we'll get the report, but just so that's what I was told, just because we do want to know what the situation is with the money. But they didn't have $2 million over and above their budget. That was part of that, and the $650,000 was left over and applied to the budget.
Okay, thank you. Motion to accept the report of the subcommittee as a report of progress. So moved by Councilor Broderick, seconded by Councilor Milanazzo. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? The subcommittee report is approved. Any further subcommittee reports? Okay, next item is a petition to the City Council from residents in the vicinity of Border Street, request the city abandon a portion of Border Street. This matter is to be referred to the manager for a report and recommendation. So moved by Councilor Milanazzo, seconded by Councilor Elliott. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? The matter is referred for report and recommendation from the manager. Under the motions, the first motion is by Councilor Rita Mercier. City Council requests the city manager report on the policy, if any, for the collection of yard waste, seconded by Councilor Ramirez. Councilor Rita Mercier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the Assistant City Manager, T.J. McCarthy. This is not one of these motions where you make it and you refer it to the city manager and you get a report. I discussed this with T.J. earlier in the week. I just wanted to set the record straight as to the yard waste policy. So I will be asking T.J. questions in regards to this particular motion. And I wanted to know, Mr. Assistant City Manager, is there a yard waste policy?
Yes, there is a yard waste policy.
And
Actually, it's a state law. Okay?
And what is this policy?
State law is basically you have to collect yard waste separate from your household waste. And to that extent, what we have is a separate collection. And we ask that those yard waste materials be placed separately and are collected separately from the household waste.
Do they pick up this yard waste the same day as the regular trash pickup?
Yes, at least they set out to plan to do that. Last week, I received a lot of phone calls, the neighborhood services, I'm sure everyone received a lot of phone calls. Yard waste collection started April 1st. Because it was a mild spring, I'm sure a lot of people got a jump on things. This time last week, we called BFI. They usually run between 3 and 5 trucks in the city to collect that. We had them increase that to 10 trucks last week. They were about a half a day behind pickup. They are now, today when we spoke to them, they are completely caught up.
The reason that I bring this forward is because we know that there's a policy in place, but the average person that probably don't read the paper or talk to the neighbors or whatever, they don't understand this, that this did begin already in April, and it ends in November. Is that right?
That's correct.
And The thing of it is, they're understanding that they take their yard waste and they put it separately in bags or separate barrels, and it is to be picked up the same day as your regular trash pickup. Like today is Tuesday, was my trash day. They came behind and they as well picked up the yard waste. But this isn't always happening, and I know they fall behind, but it gets a little frustrating when it's the second day or the third day and just left there to have the rain get at it, and then the bags are falling apart, and then the leaves have to be picked up all over again. So I'm just saying that things happen. Sometimes neighborhood kids, just to be funny, as sometimes they pull pranks and they take the bags and they drag them up the street in front of another neighbor's house. I want to get them picked up in a timely fashion so that none of these things happen, so that it is imperative that the yard waste is picked up in a timely fashion. That's all that I'm asking through this motion.
Okay, and if there are any problems, we invite the public to call Neighborhood Services or the city manager's office, and we'll have somebody investigate that, or they can call BFI directly. Also would direct them to the city website, or 10 different facts about recycling yard waste that they should know, and I think would help them out and guide them. If they don't have that, I'll ask LTC to run that for them as well on cable access.
So this motion is more or less an informational motion, and I know that you were kind enough to provide me and my colleagues with a paper stating the Lowell Recycles information for the spring of 2006. Now, did we just get it, or did the public get this paper? How are they going to know about this?
That's being advertised in the paper, and it's on LTC as well.
Okay, and it's on LTC as well.
And the website, correct.
So I would like to just go over it briefly in case people don't know, they miss it on LTC, or they don't read the paper, that the city of Lowell will have a hazardous waste day on Saturday, May 6th, from 9 to 1 at Colley Stadium. That's number one. On Saturday, May 6th, from 9 to 1. Then there's a tire collection, which will take place the week of Monday, May 1st, to Friday, May 5th, on regular trash days of the week. You could put out your tires on the week, from the week of Monday, May 1st to Friday, May 5th. So that's good information as well. Do we know when there'd be, in the hazardous waste day? So this is information that I'm just trying to bring to the public, that take the time to tune into the council meeting. Since this is spring and these are things that are happening, I just wanted to bring this as a point of information. Thank you, Mr. Assistant City Manager.
All those in favor of the motion say aye. Any opposed? The motion is adopted. Next motion is by Councilor Caulfield. The City Council requests the City Manager have the Law Department prepare the proper vote to allow youth organizations to place advertisements on the fences of city ballparks. Seconded by Councilor Broderick. Councilor Caulfield.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I believe Kevin McHugh would like to speak on this motion. He's the one who brought it to my attention. There's approximately 3,000 children who play Little League Baseball in our city. And there's also 3,000 children who play soccer. It's very expensive, and these youth organizations, Mr. Mayor, do not turn one child away. It's becoming increasingly expensive, and the parents can, I know that they pay so much for the child, but if the businesses were allowed to advertise on the fences, they could generate some revenue from that source. So Kevin McHugh would like to further that explanation.
Any objection from councilors from hearing from Mr. McHugh? School
Hi,
Committee
thank
member
you.
Kevin
McHugh, 121 Mount Pleasant Street. Tonight I come before you as the representative of Centerville Little League. Each year the costs grow greatly on the cost of running a Little League program. The cost of umpires, we actually have to have insurance, the cost to register the children. We actually try to recycle the uniforms as much as possible to keep those costs down, but umpires' fees, everything keeps growing. So the one thing we pride ourselves in Centerville is we do not turn any children away that want to play baseball. If they can't afford to play, put any of the fees in, they play for free. So I think that's something we try to do, because it's all about the children, getting them involved and active and, working that way. As the costs grow, it becomes more and more difficult to continue to run our program in an effective way. So this year, the organization had a discussion on fundraising activities, which we continue to try to do. And one of the thoughts was possibly, as we go out to cities and towns and the surrounding towns, have advertisement on the actually outfield fences. So what I actually did is sent a letter into the city solicitor's office asking permission, or what do we have to do to follow the rules of the city to actually put some type of signage only during the season. And our goal would be to put a sign on the outfield fence and have it secured to the fence, and then when the season's done, take it down. So it's not going to be up there all winter and everything else, because the goal would be to reuse the signs each year, and hopefully the sponsors would again. I think we're only looking at a couple $100 to sponsor a sign. So that was the goal. I received a communication back from the assistant city solicitor saying that there's a sign ordinance and we would need a variance in order to get this accomplished, because currently the existing sign ordinance won't allow us to do that. Actually, just to show you, we're only looking at it. It's a chloroplaster. It's more of a really kind of a lightweight plastic. We would be zip tying it to the fence. It would be very secure. There'd be no sharp edges. So it's just to give you an idea of what we're looking to do, and I would appreciate any support or any information we can to make this happen. Thank you.
Thanks. Council Caulfield.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the solicitor, I spoke to you last week about this particular issue, and you indicated that only what would have to happen is a representative from the youth organizations would just have to appear before the Zoning Board of Appeals to get a variance, and it's just a formality. That's all?
I mean, I don't want to speak for the ZBA that it's just a formality, but in terms of the procedure, yes, they would have to, I believe they could have one representative, they could have a single petition, and it could apply to all the different parks in the city. And they would be looking for a variance to allow them to hang signs on fences, which is what they want to do. And secondly, a variance to go beyond the 30-day period to hang signs or post signs on buildings and other structures, again, beyond a 30-day period in the ballpark.
Okay.
Madam Solicitor, I've heard from heads of other leagues as well, and there is some time sensitivity to this. I mean, the season's about to start for at least a lot of the baseball and softball leagues. Is that the most expeditious process that's quicker than us having to amend the ordinance to allow for this? Would that be your view?
Yeah, I mean, in either case, we would be looking at a public advertisement. The ZBA has to publicly advertise its list, and if we were to do a zoning change, we would have to do the same. If we were to do a zoning change, then we would have to do it, I would suggest, just as an exception to the general rules applying to signs. I think in terms of time, it may be more expeditious to do it through the ZBA. Actually, it's probably about the same.
Okay. Councilor Caulfield.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Madam Solicitor, is there some way that these youth organizations could go forward and acquire the advertisement money and so forth to fund their league and put up the signs until we get this approved?
Well, signs could go up on the buildings right now, and it would be good for 30 days. The problem is that it would expire under our zoning, and that's what they would need the variance for. So they could go ahead and do that now.
But there's signs at the LaLashia Ballpark that I don't remember giving them a variance for something like that. And we're talking about youngsters here that invaluable necessary dollars to keep them on their field.
I mean, that's the answer though with the zoning. You can't put the signs on the fence without a variance or without changing the zoning
So what your
ordinance.
suggestion is someone should go before the Zoning Board of Appeals and present their case?
Yeah, I mean, that was the original recommendation of the attorney in our office that had reviewed this whenever
Let me ask
that,
Kevin.
whenever that was.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Where are you? What the solicitor is saying, Kevin, is either you or some representative of a youth organization go before the Zoning Board of Appeals and ask for that variance
They go under the umbrella.
to make it legal.
That could be done. I mean, I can write them a letter to get on their agenda, I guess. I'm not sure how often they meet, though, but I can do
You don't have a
Councilor
problem
Broderick?
with that? You don't have a problem with that?
No, just
Okay.
as hopefully they'll support it, that's all.
Councilor Broderick.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the solicitor, did we establish that they can put them up for 30 days?
Yes, the opinion had informed them that they could go ahead and do the 30-day, they could go ahead and put them up for the 30 days. What they couldn't do, again, is we have a strict prohibition against any signs on fences. And I think most of the parks, I assume what they were trying to do is put them out on the chain link fences, and that was one of the stumbling blocks. So what was recommended was actually to secure 2 variances on this issue. 1, to allow signage on the fence, and 2, to allow signage beyond the 30 days in the parks.
Would it still be a violation once, if we have to do a public hearing? Make it the advertisement? I know it shuts down things. Does it work the other way? Where once we advertise it, it's not going to be enforced? So if we filed an advertisement for this to change the zoning or change whatever we needed to do?
Would it freeze? Yeah, you're right. I mean, it normally doesn't, it normally works to freeze it as opposed to, and I would say no, because until it actually passes, it wouldn't be in effect.
Then it would be an enforcement issue?
Then it would be an enforcement issue. But we can't, violate our own zoning.
Councilor Rita Mercier?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't understand that we have a baseball stadium in the city of Lowell at LaLasha Park with signage all the way around on the fences. How did they get that there? Is it possible we, as a city with Little League, can go under the umbrella of the big guy? I don't understand this. How did they get it there that we have to jump through hoops to get there? Furthermore, what role does the Board of Parks play in this? I would think that you go before the Board of Parks and ask permission. It's the last Wednesday in the month. I'm sure they'll agree to it. Anything to help out Little League. I don't know what the big, why do we have so much red tape? I don't understand this. I don't get it.
Councilor Caulfield.
Mr. Mayor, through you to the manager, when is the next zoning board of appeals meeting? Offhand? It's on a Monday evening or a Wednesday? Monday?
Monday, yeah. Councilor Milanazzo.
Thank you. Through you to the solicitor. These are obviously city parks. Is the city exempt from?
We are not exempt from our own zoning regulations.
We are not exempt from zoning regulations.
No.
Again, just getting to Councilor Rita Mercier's question about LaLasha Park.
Yeah, we can take a look at that and see
Just
see
put
how
'em
they
up.
have that set up.
Put them up and beg for forgiveness. And keep the building department away from enforcing it.
Okay, anything further on this motion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Any opposed? The motion is adopted. The next motion is by...
Can I just ask, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, Councilor Elliott.
What did we adopt? I mean, I think if I were leaving here right now, I wouldn't know what we discussed, what I'm allowed to do.
I think the motion was to change the ordinance.
Right.
And I think the city can move forward with that. It may be more expeditious for folks to go to the Board of Appeals, or just, while all that's pending, put them up. So I think the motion that was adopted is to change the ordinance, which may take some time. In the meantime,
Okay.
I think there are other avenues for the
So in
leagues
the
to
meantime,
pursue.
they're allowed to put up a sign
Oh, they're
for
not
30
allowed.
days, right?
On buildings.
On buildings. Because there is a provision in the zoning code that says you can't put them up on fences,
Correct.
That's right.
but we're not going to enforce it. I mean, I think that... I mean, I think there's youth organizations throughout the city that we're all involved in that say, yes, this is huge revenue. We need this. We'd like to do this. We want to do it. Does it have to go? I didn't think we get an answer. Does it have to go through parks? Because they seem to govern everything. Once we adopt the zoning code.
My understanding is the Board of Parks had this request, and they requested an opinion from the law department that the solicitor already discussed.
Okay.
So I think that, look, everybody here, I think, is involved with youth leagues and wants
Right.
this to happen, and I think it will happen. We're going to proceed as expeditiously as we can here in the council. In the meantime, there are other avenues that may get there
Okay.
quicker than what we're going to do.
Okay, thank you.
Like putting them up.
Like, just put them up.
Just put them up.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. McHugh. Next motion is by Councilor Caulfield. The City Council requests the city manager insert a $75,000 line item in the Public Works budget to address issues at the Brady School on Pine Street. Seconded by Councilor Donahue. There are people registered to speak. Jay Mason, if you could just recite your name and address for the clerk's file.
Good evening. My name is Jay Mason, 77 Tyler Park, president of the Friends of Tyler Park. Mr. Mayor, distinguished city councilors, I'd like to take just a moment to introduce our goal. The Friends of Tyler Park has taken an interest in the Brady School. It's named after this young lady here behind me, Margaret Brady, and I think remember this discussion from a couple of weeks ago. Thanks to Councilor Caulfield, we were able to get this thing started, and here we are taking step 2. We'll take as many baby steps as we need to, but I think we all feel pretty convicted this is a good and appropriate course of action. I want to also thank the city for the work that they've done in the neighborhood. We are just one of many neighborhoods in the city. We understand we don't have a monopoly on your services. We also understand that we have some very energized and very committed people in the neighborhood, and we want to put that energy into a continued partnership with the city, and this is one example of that. The city's done a great job with the park, Tyler Park, on Westford Street. That's turned out to be a real haven and a fantastic part of our neighborhood and the city's storied park system. And now with the Brady School, I have these photographs which I would like to just quickly hand out again, if I could. Yes, those are the same pictures we had. I just want to bring it to the council's full attention. The building has suffered some neglect and some deterioration from some unfortunate decisions made in the past, and we're not here to dwell in the past, but I just want to make it very clear that this type of building is probably not the kind of thing that any of us here in this room would live in as a residence if we had a choice, just by the way it's presented on the outside. But I think, as you can see, the Board of Health is in there. They're operating, and we're doing the best we can as a city to provide the necessary space for these vital organizations. What we're asking is that through this funding package, which would be kind of the first step in a probably a 2 or 3 tier step over time, that the building get addressed with a planning effort which would lay out a scope of work and determine a certain specific agenda of work items. Basically, repair the siding, replace the trim, put a coat of paint on the project, repair the windows, and then that work would be executed with the DPD or some other advisory body of specification in place to make sure that that happens. Being an architect, I know that it's very important to have good drawings, good specifications, good rules to follow when you're trying to execute a piece of work, especially something that has some historic character. So our motion is about achieving that goal. Mr. Bevere from the city manager's department came up with a rough estimate of 150, so we're asking for about half of that. Well, we are asking for half of that. That estimate has yet to be proven in the field, and as we saw with the earlier discussion on the garage, it might be a little low, maybe it's high, but it's a good starting point. We think this is a good way to get this thing underway, and with the city's help, you've got the Friends of Tyler Park backing this thing very, very aggressively, and we hope to see it continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Renee Gasly, I'm sorry. I just know you as Renee.
My name is Renee Gasly. I've been a resident of Lowell for 23 years. I'm the co-chair of the Highlands Neighborhood Association, and I'm also a member of the the Tyler Park Association. Ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, fellow citizens of Lowell, I'm here tonight to support the renovation of the Pine Brady School. I am pleased to see that the city is finally stepping up to the plate and starting to appropriate monies towards this school. I look forward to viewing the building back to its original historical splendor that once graced our Highland streets. I would hope this is only the beginning to a new chapter in this building. This building, to me, reflects my neighborhood, and it reflects that something can be made out of and kept in the neighborhood for not only historical significance, but maybe for the residents as well as commercial enterprises down the road. So I thank you, and I hope this is only the beginning to the support.
Thank you. Brenda Price.
My name is Brenda Price, and I live on 98 Tyler Park, and I am a member of the Friends of Tyler Park. I have lived in Tyler Park all my life and was a former member of the Pine Street Brady School, growing up in the Upper Highlands in the 1950s. The character of a neighborhood is not only made up of its diverse population, but also the grand buildings that can give a neighborhood character. The Brady School, former Pine Street School, is an example of just this. It has served the people of Lowell well, originally as a primary school, then to an alternative school, and now as a health center. But it is looking a bit tired now, and wouldn't we all if we reached the age of at least 100? So please help to provide some of the funds that are needed to restore the Brady School, which, as we know, is part of the Tyler Park Historic District, making it a place that will always remain special in the Upper Highlands neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Dennis McCarthy.
Thank you very much. This is a beautiful city, and it is the strength of the architectural heritage that helps set us apart. But the city isn't taking care of the school. The school is such a great structure, and we're neglecting it. And I really think that it's a shame. We need to honor this great building that we have here with at least the minimum of improvements, just to ensure that its full potential may one day again be realized as a community center in some shape or form. It's such a great gem. It's an unfortunate situation to not realize it in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Will Winslow. Not here. Michael Reddy.
Hello all. Mr. Mayor, thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. Members of the City Council. My name is Michael Reddy. I'm a local neighborhood preservation activist, but I come before you this evening as a former resident of the Highlands. I grew up at 750 Wilder Street. I enjoyed a wonderful childhood growing up there. I support Councilor Caulfield's motion to help preserve this building. It's a wonderful motion. This building is a beautiful building. Some people may look at it and see a dilapidated building. It's actually in good shape. What I want to share with you this evening, I don't know if many of you know, but I'm a contractor, and I'm also someone who loves Lowell's architecture, and I also focus in my business on preservation architecture. The point I came here to make is that the damage to this building, as bad as it looks, it's actually pretty minimal. This building was covered in something known as asbestos siding, and what that was is a fiber cement siding, and the binder for that siding was asbestos. This siding job was probably done in the 50s or 60s. Had this building been sided in the last 10 to 15 years, it would have experienced what's known in the industry as a bust, rape, and clear. It would have been torn of all of its architecture. And this building actually retains a lot of its architecture. It's actually missing the cornice assemblies and what are known as the corner pilaster assemblies. Now, there are products out there, and I think this is important, especially in regard to cost and how long we could expect any opportunity to restore this to last. There is a new fiber cement product out there that is made in a clapboard. It uses a fiberglass. The advantages are it's cement. If you remember one thing about asbestos shingle siding, it never peeled. And this product will retain paint for 4 to 5 times longer than wood if you decide to go that route. There's also another product out that I work with that is an expanded PVC that can be milled. Again, paint adhesion lasts probably maybe forever, and it does not rot. So what I have used this for is to encourage people when they are considering to do detail restoration, they gain a lot of comfort from the fact that they know, as opposed to having it created from pine, which we know does not last anymore, it's all new growth, that if you use these products, and some of them actually run less than wood, that you can see a lot of longevity here. So that, if whatever comfort this may provide you. Another project that I'd like for you to consider is the 10th Street School up on Methuen and 10th Street. That was done by a local contractor named Kevin McGonigal. That school is almost a mirror image of this school. And he had used what you see on there, which are shadow lines, which allow us and enable us to secure the detail of what was there, and use those shadow lines to determine what the profiles were. If restored properly, this building will be an architectural anchor and masterpiece of the Highlands. It's a big building. It occupies a great space. It has a massive granite foundation. As we know, a lot of the buildings that were built in the 70s, I read this week that the floors are collapsing. These buildings cannot be replaced, and that's why I spend a lot of my time trying to save them. They're wonderful buildings. What I want to tell Councilor Caulfield is I do have experience in this, and whatever advice I can offer to this city, I will gladly do free of charge. I won't do the job free of charge, but I have a lot of experience in this, and if you can use my knowledge on various materials and opportunities to restore the building, I'd be more than happy to offer that to this city. Now, I was also asked to mention this, because that this is a city-owned and occupied, there are very limited sources of funds. I guess it's been conveyed to me that there are no grant opportunities to help to do this, and that's why the citizens have come before you this evening to appeal to you. Personally, $75,000 seems like a very fair amount of money if it's conducted properly. It will have great longevity, and it will continue to provide a wonderful centerpiece of that neighborhood for years to come. Thank you so much once again. I appreciate all the hard work that you all do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reddy. Councilor Caulfield?
Will Winslow is here.
Oh. Will Winslow?
Thank you. My name is Will Winslow. I live on 128 Warren Street. I didn't always. I lived up in the Highlands and moved up there 6 years ago. 10 years ago, my daughter tried to get me to buy up in the Tyler Park area, and I saw the park, and it was a mess. 4 years later after that, I came back. It was all fixed up. It was beautiful. I said, now I can live here. The same thing applies, in my estimation, to the Brady School. It's got good bones architecturally. It's got good bones historically. Just ask the people who showed up last year at the open house. It shouldn't be let go. I've seen it deteriorate. It was not in very good shape when I moved here, and it got in worse shape. But it's still basic good bones, can be brought back and should be brought back. It'll increase the value of the whole neighborhood the same as Tyler Park did for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Winslow. Councilor Caulfield?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I want to thank the residents from the Tyler Park and Pine Street neighborhood for coming here tonight, speaking on this particular issue. And second of all, I want to thank the Department of Planning and Development for doing an extensive research into this issue. There was absolutely no grants or no funding out throughout the state or the federal government, and we cannot use community development block grant funds if the building is being used by the government, and that's the case. There's an approximate estimate to renovate the exterior is $150,000. I spoke to Manager Cox, T.J. McCarthy, that if we could put a line item in the budget of $75,000 for the Brady School, we could get started on the Brady School. $75,000, we could do probably 2 sides, maybe even more, and just at least get it started and let the residents up there know that the city does care. If that building was owned by a private landlord, the city would fine them. That's how deteriorating it is. So it is a solid building, and we cannot let it continue to look like that. And it's bringing the valuation of people's property down, and it's solid, as the speakers have said, Mr. Mayor. It's a solid building, and it could be utilized for other uses once the health department should leave there. And we would certainly get dividends back for our investment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Milanazzo?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I plan on supporting this motion. I think it's a good motion. I was actually by the building today, and it obviously is in great need of repair. When we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, I did mention that it might be worth our while to contact the vocational school to see if this could actually be an off-site location to have some of the vocational kids actually work on the building. Again, I can actually follow that up with a contact that I can provide to Jay Mason. Also, Community Teamwork did receive a youth build grant, and I believe they're looking for locations as well. So maybe we can use the $75,000 for materials, and maybe we can get some of the labor from various nonprofit organizations throughout the city. So again, I think it's a good step forward, and I congratulate Councilor Caulfield for bringing it forward, and I'm hoping that my colleagues will support it.
Thank you. Councilor Rita Mercier?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We fail to think of our in-house and our very own land and buildings. Before you leave here this evening, go into the mayor's reception room and see the magnificent work that was done in-house by our own home city employees, and I'm sure that they could bring that building back to the quality that it's destined to be. I know that many times we look elsewhere when the very talent is right in our own backyard, and so I think maybe if we could get our own land and building city employees to take a look at that, I'm sure they could add the fine quality to that building as they had restored the mayor's reception room.
Thank you. Councilor Elliott?
I was going to suggest the same thing. I think that's a good idea. Mr. Mason, is there any reason why, you know, we can get designs and plans and use in-house, you know, people to do the work?
Absolutely.
I mean,
I would just want to stress that we do have a planning. I just want to quickly stress that we do whatever we can to have an initial planning effort. It doesn't have to be this magnanimous, long, drawn-out thing, but we want to have a couple of page spec, and we've got a great historic spec for downtown anyway. It's the Federal Secretary of the Interior's guidelines for renovation for historic buildings. Just that we follow a plan before we just jump into it, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. I think that would be very important.
Is it worth it to, you know, maybe substitute this motion? I have a meeting with the manager and you know, DPW commissioner and Mr. Mason and the architect, Mr. Reddy, to sit down, have a planning meeting, see where $75,000 will go for materials and how the city workers can you know, perform the labor, or youth build or whomever. It seems like if we pool all these resources together, this can work in a timely manner. So I don't know if the
be a substitution or amendment just to add this planning process to the appropriation. Any objection
Correct.
to that amendment? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? The motion is so amended. Councilor Broderick.
Thank you. I don't know if I would amend it more, but I have a question or something to throw out there, is that we don't know exactly what the $75,000 is going to do. I would suggest we maybe leave it open-ended in terms of have the city manager work with DPW, Mr. Mason, see what they have for bids, and let the manager come back to us with a number that will button it up and close it up for the elements. And rather than doing 2 sides or 3 sides this year, leaving 1 or 2 looking deplorable, maybe it would make sense to tighten it up, prevent more decay, and then the second round do the finish work that's going to make it look finish it off. I don't know if
Councilor Caulfield, I think.
I would certainly support that amendment, Councilor Broderick. I just want to echo Councilor Rita Mercier's feelings. We have some excellent craftsmen in lands and building, excellent painters, excellent carpenters, and when I was discussing this with the manager, I think the manager had planned on having all the work done in-house by our craftsmen. And they're second to none. So I think they can certainly handle the Brady School.
Okay, Councilor Rita Mercier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, but for a point of information, the substitute motion isn't taking that money out of that line item, is it? Because I'm not for taking it out, I'm for leaving it there, because if everybody partners in this, and we were told that it would be a $150,000 deal, job, that with everybody participating, then maybe it would be only $75,000. So I'm for leaving that line item in there, in essence.
Are you referring to mine, Councilor?
Yes.
I was actually referring to the fact that if it comes back that it's $87,000, I would rather leave it open, that we ought to do what we have to do to close it up, because to spend 75, limit it, and only do 3/4 of the protection, to me, doesn't necessarily make sense. But I think that the manager would basically give him the flexibility to come back and tell us what their reports say.
I think he has that flexibility
Right.
anyway. I think we got a little parliamentary problem to amend a motion that's already been amended. But certainly, I think this is a good faith effort by the council to show the people that we're going to follow through in this effort. If it's going to cost more, we can always come back for more. So motion as amended, motion to approve the motion as amended by Councilor Caulfield, seconded by Councilor Elliott. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Any further discussion on this matter? Okay, the motion is adopted. Next motion is by Councilor Ramirez. The City Council requests the Mayor to contact the Chancellor of UMass at Lowell and request a presentation before the City Council April 11th relative to the $266 million capital improvement plan, and provide ongoing updates to the City Council City University Partnership Subcommittee, seconded by Councilor Milanazzo. This is a joint motion by Councilor Ramirez and Councilor Broderick, seconded by Councilor Milanazzo. Councilor Ramirez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do join with Councilor Broderick on this motion. As the chairman of the City University Partnership, I had an opportunity last week to speak to the Chancellor's office, and they were happy to come down and have a representative. I think she's here, Diane, to make a presentation on the capital improvement plan. I just don't know if Councilor Broderick would also like to add a few comments.
Councilor Broderick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No, I actually called the motion and was informed that Councilor Ramirez had called in the same motion. And I just thought with I was a little bit slower to read the newspaper, I guess. I thought it would be a good idea to find out what this means. They're looking at $266 million expansion and renovation, so I thought it would be a positive thing for the city to get involved with.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Any opposed? The motion's adopted. Ms. Prito Brun.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk about this. We're all excited about the next few years at the campus, and I'm always glad to talk about these kinds of things. We've developed what we're considering a draft master plan. We're in the very early stages right now of looking at the UMass future, particularly the physical campus. But this master plan is less about construction than it is about economic sustainability, job growth. Essentially, the university has been spending the last 10 years positioning itself. The way to really maintain economic sustainability in a region is to keep ahead of the technology curve, to always be ahead of the other companies, other manufacturers, so that as information diffuses through the country and through the world, we're always there with the next innovation. And that's really the future of the Commonwealth. The university is committed to this future. And right now we've spent the last decade building a faculty and a student body that is absolutely ready to embrace this theory and really take the Commonwealth to the next step. The only thing that's holding them back is the physical surroundings that they have. We have a campus. Our newest academic building is over 40 years old. The majority of our buildings are around 100 years old. It's very difficult to do technological innovation in these kinds of buildings. So that's really what this is about. It's merely to support the academic transformation of the campus and the economic sustainability of the region. The way we need to do this economic sustainability is to create well-rounded and and interested students. That's what has to happen. We create those, we create graduate students, we create great scientists in the long run. But these can't just be scientists who understand one piece of science. They have to understand the whole gamut of sciences. They have to understand the humanities. They have to understand what it means to be part of a community. And so to do that, the direction of the university is an interdisciplinary teaching. An engineer talks with an English major. An artist talks with a biologist. That's where you get technological innovation, and that's where you develop people who will really contribute to society. So what the master plan does is really try to physically make the campus easier for collaboration. There are really 4 pillars to this master plan. The first is the construction. There's only one new building other than parking garages, and I won't talk about parking garages anymore. There's only one new building in the master plan, and that is a new nano-bio-green chemistry interdisciplinary technology building. It's going to be 80,000 square feet, we estimate, and it is in order to take all of those areas of expertise that the university has developed in manufacturing technology, put them all in a building together. That's where the great stuff is going to come out. And that's really a top priority in this master plan. We're estimating a total budget of about $80 million for this facility. The next pillar of the master plan is this idea of consolidating those areas of academics that would be most fruitful together. Right now, for instance, the best example of this is our newly consolidated School of Health and Environment. The university determined that you can't deal with and understand an individual's health without understanding the health of the environment, the health of the community, and the health of society. So programmatically, we merged all the departments that deal with those areas into a new School of Health and Environment. But we've got one department in Weed Hall, we've got another department in O'Leary Hall, we've got another department on North Campus in Kitson Hall, we've got another department in Panansky. They're everywhere. So this master plan includes the upgrades needed to consolidate all those departments into a single location, in this case north. Puts the School of Health and Environment right next to our engineering school, right next to our College of Sciences. So as we develop these new technologies, we're developing them with an eye towards environment and social health. And that will involve a whole domino effect of moving departments around that you just don't want to know about. I don't really want to know about it, but I have to. The third pillar is modernization. We know now that to be a successful university, we have to provide 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week, 12-month-a-year services. People need to get their education when they can get their education. We have to be able to provide it when it's convenient. That involves taking these 100-year-old buildings and making them work that way. Air conditioning. It's not pretty, but absolutely critical. Making sure our electrical systems are up to standard. Making sure that we can install adequate technology to make sure that our instruction is state-of-the-art. So modernization is a big chunk of this. And the last pillar is the amenities on the campus. We're in a competitive industry, and that's what it is. Higher education is an industry. We need to make sure our campus is attractive to the best students. So we're upgrading our residence halls. We're creating socialization spaces. We're creating conference spaces, places to bring the community and students together to talk about issues that affect the world. So this all adds up to $266 million. We've gone through the exercise of putting together a master plan that shows how we can get to all of these goals. This is one way of doing it. There are hundreds of ways we could do it. So we're putting this master plan out there, and now we're asking the university community and the overall community to come back and say what's good about this plan and what's bad about this plan. We expect to have this plan evolve and hopefully by the fall have a fairly good idea of what we're going to do. But this exercise has allowed us to know what resources we need to get where we need to go. The funding is proposed to be a division. The campus is financially ready and prepared by the fall to bond $133 million to advance the core pieces of this master plan. The university is asking the state to match that commitment to economic sustainability on a dollar-for-dollar basis. That gets you your $266 million. The plan is organized so that no campus-funded project is dependent upon a state-funded project. So if commitments are slower than we hope they will be, we can still move forward with the campus-funded portion of the master plan. But to really gain success, we need to have the larger vision here. And I really want to emphasize that this is a draft. You can see this master plan on www.uml.edu/masterplan. And we look forward to comments from anybody about where they think we're going wrong, where they think we're going right, and how this can contribute to a wider community sustainability effort. We really want to be part of the larger community. That's why we're doing this. It's not just about the buildings, it's about building the community. So I don't want to go into too much detail because it's late and it's a fairly detailed master plan, but I'm more than happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Councilor Rita Mercier?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So my question is this the presentation that the motion was asking for? Or are you going to still present a presentation?
If you want a longer,
I think you covered it all.
I think I've covered all of it. We don't have a lot of fancy pictures and bells and whistles because it's not a final plan, and we didn't want to spend a lot of time doing that. So
but if you want to see a taste of what's yet to come on the outside, I suggest you go over the Textile Bridge, and as you're approaching the University Avenue that abuts UMass Lowell, all you need do is look for the footprint of Diana Prudo-Brune, and you see the lovely masterpiece of the manicured sidewalks, lawns, the Victorian lights, and it's a gateway into the city that I'm very, very proud of. And under your leadership and direction, Diana, you've done a tremendous job. So I'm not surprised that you're going to be doing fine, as you did with creating the Songus Arena and overseeing the construction of that, because it was the talk of the week when people from all over the world came and said this is a magnificent building and it's a state-of-the-art like we've never seen around the world. So that's a credit to you. And having said that, I just want to say that when I think of $266 million, all I really wanted to do to add my comment was, is there a little bit of money that we could put over to the Bellegarde Bathhouse for the rowing team? Because it is owned by UMass Lowell. If you could redirect the draft and try to slide in a little bit of money there so our rowing team would be happy.
I would absolutely love to, but we don't own the boathouse, and I can't. The university can't spend capital money on facilities that they don't own. So we are doing our best to try to partner and see what we can do to help out.
We'll see from the state delegation if perhaps we can go that route and try to.
I think there are a lot of people committed to making that happen.
But you're doing a great job, and I applaud you, Diana.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Ramirez?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I just want to thank you, Diane, for making this presentation. My conversations with the Chancellor's office are such that they are going to continue to report to the City University Subcommittee, and so this is more of a report of progress, and I thank you very much for that.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Prudo-Brune. The next three motions are mine. Any objection to me reading them from here? First motion is the City Council requests the City Manager have the proper department repair or replace the tree grates in the downtown area and continue maintenance. Seconded by Councilor Caulfield. Actually, I meant to include in this motion a report of which ones are in need of repair, and I believe through DPD that report is underway, and I also believe that the Council has funded a contract to replace these trees. So it's really just to get an update on the report where they need to be repaired, and so that work can commence now that we're in the season to do that. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Any opposed? That motion is adopted. The next motion is also mine. City Council requests the City Manager have the proper department repair the existing lights at Ecumenical Plaza near Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church, seconded by Councilor Broderick. This motion, there are 4 light poles in Ecumenical Plaza. They all have no lighting fixtures on the top at all. The wires are hanging out. This was a constituent request whether these lights could be repaired in time for the Greek Easter celebration, which I believe is about 11 days away. If that is possible, that's the request. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Any opposed? That motion's adopted. And the final motion by Mayor Martin, City Council requests the City Manager have the proper department repair the lights on Lewis Street in the vicinity of Holy Trinity Church, seconded by Councilor Broderick. This is actually not a repair. There is a floodlight on Jefferson Street near the church, and the request was to add a new pole with a new light similar to that on the opposite street. The folks did not request that in time for the Greek Easter celebration, realized that may take an additional amount of time, but that's the request. All in favor of that motion, say aye. Any opposed? That motion is adopted. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Councilor Armin Mercier.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Donahue. Councilor Caulfield.
Mr. Mayor, before you do, Councilor Rita Mercier brought up the Bellegarde Boathouse. And I attended a meeting there Friday morning with the Lowell delegation, Brian Martin, and the city of Lowell, examining that facility. And I know TJ was there as well, Joe Guthrie, Tom Bellegarde. And the city's going to do everything they can, along with the Lowell delegation and the state, to correct anything that's physically wrong with the building. I must say, not the Lowell delegation's fault, but the state, who handles the maintenance and upkeep of those buildings, neglected it. And they're the ones you can blame, not the Senate or the House, but Governor Romney and his crew. They let it down. Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor of the motion to adjourn, say aye. Any opposed? The meeting stands adjourned.